everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner, and I have a very special guest in my corner that I've been teasing about all day. Would you like to unveil your secret identity?
Why, yes, I would. Hey guys, this is Elise Baughman, and
And
I'm
now,
really happy to be here. I'm excited.
awesome, because we're happy to have you here. And I was actually saying a little bit behind the scenes before this that it's like, yes, unlimited girl talk. It's like sleepover.
Unlimited girl talk, yes.
So how is your area doing? How's the weather out there?
Well, I'm in New York right now, so the weather is very cold. Very, very cold. But of course it gets really cold in Dallas as well. So I've been handling it okay. It hasn't stopped me from sightseeing and going around town.
Well, it's actually been pretty cold here in Las Vegas. It actually snowed technically last year, which is kind of surprising because we never have that during Christmas.
Ah, see, that's like Dallas. We never have snow during Christmas. We did have a little snow, but it wasn't cold enough to stick. So it's a big deal if Dallas ever gets snow.
I know there was like a big snowstorm, I think it was maybe 6 months back in the area.
Well, let's see. I think the last big snowstorm was maybe during the Super Bowl when everybody thought it was going to be fantastic weather in Dallas and people had a hard time getting in. And I can't remember if there's been one after that or not.
It's been a pretty long time, and I don't keep my weather reports up for every place of the world, so I could be off.
No, what are you doing with yourself?
Well, now, since I'm probably boring some of the listeners with our talk about weather, let's do the forecast today. Uh,
Yes.
let's entertain them with how you got into the acting business.
Ah, yes, because I did not take the normal path. I actually majored in accounting. And then I got my MBA, focused on mainly marketing, and started working as a financial analyst, kind of doing finance and accounting, and decided it wasn't my calling in life. And so the very short version is somebody gave me an acting class as a gift. One of my best friends, Jeff Medford, he knew I was interested. Well, I took the class. They said, "Do you want an agent?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is, but I'll take one." And it kind of just snowballed from there. And I loved my acting classes and thought, well, how do I turn that into a career instead of accounting? And I know accounting is not, the natural precursor to acting, but it worked for me. So it took a lot of hard work for sure, but I have been doing it for quite a while now, and I absolutely love it.
Well, I will say I can't think of how math would help you in voiceover or acting necessarily.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Well, the good news is, I'll say, because I've been working in LA and Dallas as an actor, and I love the business side. And a lot of creative types and actors, they don't really like dealing with the business side, and I don't mind at all. I kind of like that I have both. I get to go do my creative work with the acting and producing that I've just recently gotten into, but then I like the business side of it too. So that's where it comes in handy.
Well, on the plus side too, you can also handle your finances better because you're getting paid from a bunch of different places, and then there's, you know, checks that you get in the mail like later, like I can't remember the name of them right now, but they'll be like for 5 cents.
Oh, the residual checks.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, I just deposited one that was $6.79.
Woo, big
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Woohoo. I can go have a Starbucks coffee now. But yeah, it does help you keep up because you're right. As an actor, you get a lot of checks from a lot of different places, and it can be hard to keep up with it. So it does help having that background.
And now, how did you get into voiceover? Was that one of the first things you did, or was that also something you fell into?
No, I actually, when I started acting, I wanted to do on camera and I didn't really know a lot about voiceover. And I was in an improv troupe and we were at dinner one night after improv with somebody that Mike McFarland. And there were a group of actors talking and they were talking about this anime work. And I was like, how do I do that? I want to do that. So I kind of asked Mike about it a couple of times, and he's the one that brought me in for the audition for Dragon Ball GT. So I really have him to thank. So I came in and I got very lucky because the character of Pan was really the first voiceover work that I did. And so then, I went to my agent and said, "Hey, I got this. I would love to do more of it." And so it's the same thing. I kind of got lucky because I got a lead role right off the bat. But then I did a ton of work and have worked really hard on both the voice side and the on-camera side ever since.
Well, now with voiceover, it must have been a little bit intimidating in the beginning because you had to match lip flaps and do timing, and it must have been totally different from on camera. Did you find it kind of scary at first?
I don't think so. I think I was, because I've always loved animation. So I think I was just so excited. And, I had a couple of surreal moments where I was in the booth and you're going, yeah, and you want to do the physical movement with the vocal part of it. And I kind of just had that moment of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting to do this. And this is my job. So I don't, sometimes. Well, no, I don't think I was intimidated. I think I was just too excited to be intimidated.
And now I'm assuming you didn't knock any mics over when you hired.
I probably did. Yes, I probably kicked a few walls at Funimation, but they let me come back anyway.
Oh, well, that's good. And as long
Yeah.
as they didn't, take the damage out of your check, then it's a
Oh,
bonus for
no.
you.
No, I didn't break anything. May have knocked a few things over, but didn't break anything.
Now, that's the character that you were portraying in Dragon Ball GT is fairly energetic, and her voice, I think, is a little bit higher than your normal speaking voice. So that must have been fairly easy.
Well, I loved it. Yes, and you're absolutely right. It's just a little higher than my speaking voice. And one neat thing, because I had a really strong accent growing up because I'm from Louisiana. And then I also spoke in a really high register all my life. And so I used to get made fun of for my voice. And so now I mainly do kid voices. I'm not so good at the, evil witch who's 55 or whatever. But so now it just amazes me that I'm getting paid for what I used to get made fun of for. So yeah, I like doing the kid voices.
Well, the plus side for anime specifically is so many female, characters have these really high-pitched voice, and like sometimes it's almost nauseating. But at the same time, if the voice actress is really good at it, it makes the performance really believable, even though it's a registry,
Oh,
high
yeah.
note,
High
whatever I'm
note.
saying. Yes.
Whatever you said, yes.
So does that help you though in the anime world having a higher voice like that?
I think so because I think most of the characters that I've done in anime and animation have ranged from everywhere from 4 years old to maybe up to 40. So it definitely helps. Now, some people can also then go do the evil character or do the really old character. And I think the only time I've done an older character is when I did. There was a scene in Dragon Ball GT where they showed Pan as a grandmother. And so I did Pan as an older woman, but that's about it. So yeah, I mean, being able to do the kid voices definitely helps in anime and animation in general.
And I would think with animation in general, that would be a nice way to get out stress because you're in a like padded room and you can scream at the top of your lungs into a mic.
Yes. And you feel like you're karate chopping somebody. Yeah, I've started doing taekwondo, I'd say just over the past couple of years. And it's kind of weird to actually do the moves and not go, yeah, and do the sound effects along with it.
Oh, that must be really nice though. Like my mom always wants me to try yoga or something
Mm.
like that with her, but that sounds cooler, I'm just gonna say. And you can fend off people.
I can, yeah, as long as they're my size or smaller. And I do really well in class because most of the students are ages 5 to 15. So I'm pretty good against, against the kids.
Well, I think this is a good time to take a break because I'm gonna make her teach me martial arts. So
Oh,
make sure
totally.
to
I can.
make sure to keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan and don't go anywhere because our guest ain't going anywhere.
Do you know what's on 918 The Fan? A bunch of our crap.
Good heavens.
You know what's not on 918 The Fan? A bunch of your crap.
Balderdash, I say.
Want your crap on 918 The Fan?
Quite so, good fellow.
Then send your crap titled Fan Friday Submissions to kibs@918thefan.com, and we might just post it up for all the world to see.
What do you have to lose?
Nothing.
Nothing, I say.
Quite so.
Quite right.
Yes, jolly good.
Cheerio.
Pip pip, I say.
Ah, yes, good sir.
Hey everybody out there. You're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan, and I still have my special guest here, I promise. And she taught me how to kick your butts.
Yes, that's what we did over break.
That's totally what we did. No, that's not what we did at break at all. I'm lying to you. I'm so sorry. I hope you'll forgive me. But you're obviously still here because she's still alive. That's not
I
just
am.
me faking
I
a
am
voice.
still here. She hasn't scared me off yet.
And now, actually, behind the scenes, we were talking about what projects you've recently worked on or projects that have come out that you want the listeners to know about.
Yes. Well, we talked about a couple of things. The last anime was Darker Than Black. And then I also did a film where I was the female lead. It's a film called I Am Gabriel. And it's going to come out sometime this year. We think that the limited theatrical release will be around March or April. And then it'll be out on DVD maybe in the fall or winter of this year. But it's a really good film. In a nutshell, it's about a small Texas town where everything is just going wrong and everything is depressing and businesses are shutting down. And then this little boy comes out of nowhere and brings hope to the city, basically. And some of the actors in it, John Schneider and Dean Cain, and then it's directed by Mike Norris. It also has Carrie Scott and some other fantastic, the whole cast was fantastic. So I'm really excited about that. We wrapped shooting in September, and hopefully I'll get to see a sneak peek sometime soon. So I haven't even gotten to see any of it.
Ooh, interesting. Can you
Yeah.
tell us anything about your character, or is that under wraps?
No, it's not under wraps. And in fact, I'll do a little Facebook promotion. People can go to I Am Gabriel the film, and that has a ton of pictures and some behind the scenes videos. But my character, the film starts, and I lose my baby that in delivery. Will then flash forward 10 years, and you see Gabe, the little boy who comes into town. He stays with us. So it's about 10 years after I've lost a child, he's staying with us. And so throughout the whole film, he's with us. And I just, of course, adore and love him. And I'm there to witness all the special things that he's doing for people in the community. So it's a really neat role. It was a very emotional role, but it was so much fun.
That sounds like it would actually be fairly difficult to portray a character that's gone through that sort of emotional turmoil and then, kind of perk up and have an emotional bond with a child. Was that difficult at all?
It was actually because I ended up because I've not had that an experience like that. So I did a lot of research and I talked to people who had been through that because I really wanted everything to be authentic and not be some actor trick that I was acting upset or acting like we had lost a child. So it actually was. So personally, it was very emotional just to talk to people who had been through that and then to have to maintain that during scenes where things weren't so happy. And then, yeah, you have to kind of flip because you may shoot a sad scene and then right after that, shoot a scene that takes place later in the movie where you're happy and life is getting better. So it was interesting. It was challenging. It was fun. It was it was a great role.
Well, I will say that it sounds really interesting, and hopefully we see it in theaters near the listeners. And that's a movie I'd take my mom to, because my mom always wants to see movies with me, and she always wants to see a movie I don't want to see. So now I have something to suggest to her.
Yes, that you both could enjoy, perhaps.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because she always wants to see, like, Adam Sandler's, like, Jack and Jill and this other stuff, and I'm just like, Mom, I don't really... After Zohan or whatever it was, I don't really want to see that with you. I'm
No.
sorry. I'd rather watch a cartoon.
Yes. Well, maybe this will be a bonding experience for the two of you.
Definitely. It'll be like Titanic all over again.
Oh, did you bond over Titanic?
Well, we did, because when that came out, I was fairly young. I was maybe I don't even think I was a teenager yet. So when that came out, I had to watch it in theaters with her when I was very young, and I was like, why is this movie 4 hours? Then she got it on VHS, and I was a little bit older, and then we watched it together, and I was like, oh, now I get it.
Oh, yeah.
It all made sense. Are there any other projects that you can think of that you would like the listeners to know about?
Well, I do have some things that I will be producing and either acting in or hosting, but we're just in the pre-production stages, so it's not something that we're promoting yet. But if people go to my Facebook page or my website, I'll definitely put some information out there as I have it. Because one is probably going to be a web series, although we are talking to a couple of cable networks. So one is a mockumentary where I'm acting in it, and then one is more of a talk show format that's on camera where I'd be hosting. So I have some good things coming up. I just don't have a lot to tell right now.
Understandable. You don't want to give too much away. You want to keep them guessing.
Oh, yes, the suspense.
Now, with production, that must be sort of interesting to work on the other side of the camera, essentially.
It is. And I've actually done quite a bit behind the scenes, mostly on short films, but I have done everything because I just feel the more you learn, the better you are, whether you're an actor or director or producer or whatever. I think it always helps. So, even earlier this year, I did 2.5 weeks working as crew on a cruise where they were doing a video for a cruise. And you learn so much being on the other side of the camera. So I think all those things that I've done, and I've just started getting into producing the past couple of years, but all those things have really helped so that I understand everybody's job and not just the actor's job.
Well, has it helped being an actress and then going into production? Do you understand more what the actors are trying to do?
I think so. I think so because I think you understand how they need to work and focus on their part and what we can do to make it easier, not just for them, but for the crew, for the director, for everybody. So, and like I said, I've produced small projects, so I'm still new on the producer side, but it's really fun. It's fun being on the other side too.
And now you mentioned that people can stay up to date on your Facebook and your website. Can you give us those URLs so we can stalk you in a nice way?
Yes, I would love to be stalked in a nice way. Uh, yeah, my website is elisebaughman.com, which is kind of hard to spell, so I'll spell it out. ELISEBAUGHMAN. So elisebaughman.com. And then on Facebook and Twitter, they can find me the same way. Just look me up, Elise Baughman, and they'll find several places. And then on IMDb, same thing. So if they can spell my name, they can find me.
Which is really nice. And do you get the chance to respond to fans very often?
I do. And what's really neat now that Dragon Ball Z Kai is out, I've started hearing from fans of Dragon Ball GT a lot more. And so it's been great that there's been a renewed interest. And of course, Facebook makes it so easy. And I've been Facebooking several fans, and I love getting the emails. I think there was a time where I kind of got behind on emails, and so I'm not always good at responding, but I try to every time I can.
And now, have you actually gone to see any of the new version of Dragon Ball? Out of curiosity?
I saw it on my on my TV, so I have it DVR'd.
Oh,
Um,
very nice.
Yes, if that counts. But what what's kind of neat, I have there in Taekwondo that I mentioned earlier, there is a little boy in my class and he loves the new versions of Dragon Ball. And I had never said anything about it at all. And he just came up to me and said, "You're Pan," and then ran off. And
Aw.
so, yeah, so he and I have had many conversations about the Dragon Ball series in general.
Well, that must be kind of nice to see sort of a new generation get involved in Dragon Ball because that show was on when I was, around 8 or 9.
Oh,
And
yeah, it was on a long time ago.
yeah, and that's how I got into anime was Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon and all those shows on TV and Pokemon and whatnot. So to see a new generation kind of get involved with it is really interesting to me.
It really is. And, when I started, my nephew, Christopher Calvary, he was into anime and watched the Dragon Ball series. So when I started, all of a sudden I became cool in his eyes, at least for a couple of years. But we would talk about anime, and he still watches some of the anime stuff. I don't know if he's watching the new Dragon Ball series, but it's been kind of neat to have that in common with him. And then you're exactly right. A whole new generation is getting interested.
And it's kind of neat to see that they would make the effort to actually, remarket that and re-release that. So hopefully they do that for the next iteration of the series for GT as well.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
And I'm sure you're all willing to do the role again.
Oh, yes. You would not have to ask me twice.
Wonderful. And now I'm kind of curious, do you have any conventions that you have coming up? Have you ever done a convention before in the anime
I
or geek world?
I have. I've done several. It's been several years, but I did some in the Dallas Metroplex. And then, believe it or not, I just got a message from somebody, and I'm going to do a convention in June of 2013.
Oh,
So I'm,
wow.
yeah, that's the only thing on the books for 2013 so far, but it's in Jefferson City, Missouri, so I'm excited about that. And I'm still learning about that convention, but I love going to them. I mean, when I went for Dragon Ball years ago, it was my first time to go to an anime convention. And you've been, I mean, they're fantastic and interesting, and you meet the neatest people. So I would love to go to more.
Well, I always compare it to Disneyland just because of the adrenaline rush. It's almost like riding on a roller coaster and you get no sleep.
Yes. Yes, and everybody's dressed up in costumes, maybe not the Disney costumes, but yeah, it's really kind of fun seeing it all.
And instead of cosplayers signing your little Disney princess book, it's the voice actors. I'm just
Yes,
saying. But you'll obviously keep us updated on your Facebook and your Twitter and so on and so forth about that convention.
I will. I will definitely do that.
Awesome. And I think you're already prepared for it because you said you listened to a few interviews, but I was wondering if you'd be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
I would love to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Yay!
Yay!
Basically, we asked if
Yes,
you'd be willing to do a radio bump for us.
absolutely. Now
Wonderful.
I heard different versions of it depending on who was doing it.
Yes, because everyone kind of takes that middle part because we just ask, hello, my name is, you insert your name. And that middle part, we kind of give you the freedom to do whatever you want. If you want to list characters or act, that you're an actor, a producer, whatever works there. And really, the only line that we have a strict rule with is you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
I think I can handle that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Then whenever you're ready, we can do it. Take one.
Oh, take one. We'll see if I mess up, even though I knew about the tradition ahead of time. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, I'm Elise Baughman, known for my role as Pan in Dragon Ball GT, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
See, that's perfect. You don't even need a second take.
I almost did. I almost bobbled, even though I knew what was coming.
Well, did you have it written down on a sticky note? That might have been a good cheat sheet.
Well, I must admit, I did have it written down on my PC, on a PC sticky note, so same
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
Eh.
same thing. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners out there?
Well, I love doing the interview. I'm so excited to be doing what I'm doing. So I always like to hear from people and hear that they're excited as well. So I appreciate everyone and appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. And the fans, thank you as well. I know I saw in the live chat a few, oh, yay, Pan. I know.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, I saw a lot of people who were really excited specifically for that character.
Oh, good. Well, I'm so excited they were able to tune in.
Definitely. And thank you once again for this. This was a lot of fun.
It was fun. Thank you so much.
And for anybody out there who missed any of this interview, don't fret. You'll find it on the website within the next few days. So keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want and nothing you don't.